Hey everyone, welcome back to Ross and Jacob Talk Hyrox. Today we've brought in Millie, who is one of our other Hyrox workout ambassadors. We met her through that, and so we brought her on today to learn a little bit more about her journey with fitness and also her journey with Hyrox. Hey Millie.
Hi,
Hi, Millie. Thanks for coming on.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I think we just get into it straight away. Of course, me and Jacob know what's been going on in your Hyrox journey recently, but I'll not spoil it for everyone. So why don't you tell us your fitness background, how you got into Hyrox, what's been going on lately with Hyrox, which is exciting. But yeah, just your fitness background, if that's all right, Millie.
hmm Um, so I always loved sport, always loved PE, was always a sporty kid. Played a lot of netball, did gymnastics, dancing growing up. Always out the house, always doing something, but was never a runner. Could not run at all. Walked the 800 meters on sports day, not my thing. I could do hurdles, that was about it. But yeah, and then I went to uni and did cheerleading. So then became a national champion cheerleader at uni. And then really got into my gymming sort of in lockdown while at uni in Birmingham. And then I had a friend that told me about Hyrox in sort of 2023, I think. I'd never heard of it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to enter one and see what happens. So I entered, I think it was about May. I got a ticket and then I did London an open solo in November 2023. So I kind of threw myself in the deep end um,
Definitely,
and
yeah.
got severely humbled. Really thought, oh, I'd be good at this. I can do this. No, realised it was an awful lot harder than I realised. I think I got 1 hour 27. Um,
This was before you started doing any sort of like specific training for it or running or anything, right? You just kind of signed up and went for it.
Signed up. I did train, but very much. I would run like twice a week. Didn't really run much. No real like high rocks training that was sort of hybrid, like compromise running, all those kind of things, training under fatigue. Hence why I got so humbled. And I truly went into it thinking, oh, I can run like 5:30 Ks, and it was like 6:45, a bit slower most of them.
Yeah,
Like
it
the
didn't go to
stations,
plan.
yeah, stations brilliant. Like they were all fine. But yeah, and obviously at that point the judging wasn't as strict. So I watched back videos and I think, oh dear, like the burpees, the wall balls were horrendous. But yeah, and then I sort of got the itch for it and I thought, oh, so then I actually booked Copenhagen for the following March. And I did a mixed doubles in 1 hour and 4, and then was like, but I got carried in that really. And then I booked another solo, and then it just kind of went from there really. And now somehow I've done 13. So,
13.
which
So was this second solo open category as well?
yes, so I did
Yeah, after your
the
mixed race.
second solo was May 2024, London Olympia, and I did 1 hour and 17. So I took 10 minutes off in like 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah,
Uh,
impressive.
but mainly because I started to focus on running. Like the stations, I don't think the stations have really improved in about 3 years. It's all the runs faster and faster and faster. Um, and yeah, and then I did another solo the following November, but that's when they changed it from 75 wall balls to 100 for women. So I got 1 hour and 19. So
Yeah.
again, the running was quicker. I did more doubles. I did some women's doubles. I did another mixed. I managed to do mixed doubles in 59 minutes. Um, yeah, which I'm very keen to do again, or even go a bit quicker. But yeah, and then yeah, I did my first pro solo in November 2025 and got 1 hour and 19. and then did my second pro solo in February in an hour and 15, and somehow got a world's qualification, which I'm
Yeah,
still
that is absolutely
proud.
amazing.
But yeah, so that's the
Epic.
next goal.
Yeah, that is. That's awesome.
I want to hear
And
about
that's,
the
oh, sorry, go on, Jacob.
No, I was just going to ask. I want to hear about the evolution of training because you talked a bit about at the beginning, you signed up for it, maybe ran 2 days a week, and then obviously now you're training for Stockholm World Championships in like a month, basically. So, how has your training changed from when you just were finding out about Hyrox and just started to then your second and third one, and then to now, how you're dialing it in for World Champs?
Definitely by upping my running, I became more consistent, 30k a week, but still for the probably the first year, I was running 3 times a week, but again, not really combining the two, probably not pushing myself enough in training, just training in a commercial gym wasn't really doing it for me. And then when I started following the Hyrox workouts plans and I moved to a different gym, they really started to push me. I now train about 8 times a week, is what I aim for, sort of 5 gym, 3 run. Um, but because I did the London Marathon in April, so my training has kind of been a bit weird this year and not my usual because I did have to drop the gym. I still was going about 3, 4 times a week because I couldn't completely shut it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then now I've just literally had a week off from after the marathon and then straight back into my Hyrox plan, which was very kindly made for me by Hyrox Workouts. So really trying to stick to that, and it's really personalized to me and like definitely shows my way of training and things I like, things I don't like. And I still definitely add maybe 1 or 2 extra sessions. But there's 6 sessions in there, which is still, yeah, plenty really.
You,
And it's intense.
yeah, so that's the Hyrox workouts plan, which you've said that is made for you. Are we able to ask how that is specifically sort of planned for you? Are you able to go into what you like, what you don't like? You've just quickly mentioned it there, and I've noticed on Instagram today you're into peak week already, aren't you? So
Yeah.
that's like it's flying in your block.
Yeah, so it's very personalized in the sense of it's focused on my weaknesses. There's a lot of like farmers carry work. There's a lot of sled work in there, which unfortunately at the minute my gym doesn't have a sled. So I'm having to manage that. In training's not really going as well as I would have hoped. Just trying to adapt things. But it's very much focused. They know I like squatting, so there's lots of squats, lots of heavy squats. Then there's sort of the other plans are um, very like a leg day, sort of a leg day and upper body day for the first few weeks, and then they kind of drop off. Whereas they know that I will still be doing a leg day, well, 2 leg days and an upper body day. So there is like a high performance recovery training sessions, which are like 20-minute bike, and then some working up to heavy squats, and then there's like a upper body version which is like 20-minute row and then like heavy push press because they're the things that I would want to do. But then I
Yeah.
love the fact that they've got the compromise running bits, so there'll be like a finisher of 25 wall balls and then go run 400 meters and do it 4 times, and that is the kind of thing that I really like.
That's
Yeah,
so good.
that makes sense. How do you feel like the running has progressed to within it? Is from start to finish in the training block, has it been mostly compromised running, or is there also like specific runs in there that are like threshold runs or your easy zone 2 runs or tempo mixed in? Did they program the running
Um,
for you?
yeah, so it's um like this week run wise there's a 45-minute zone 2, a intervals which I've literally just done, which was 400 meters and then a minute rest and 10 times. So that was the interval session. So there's only 2 runs, specific runs, and then there's a anaerobic threshold session this week, which I think is like 5-minute run into 3-minute station four
Brutal.
times. and then there's also a full sim this week. So there's a lot of running this week, to be fair. It will all add up.
I don't know how your marathon block or training block looked, but I'm guessing that has helped with the aerobic capacity, like building that, leading up into a Hyrox training block. I can only assume that they would go hand in hand. How do you find that? Do you think that has helped at all?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I don't realize how much fitter I am now. Though last week I did my first I did an 80% high rock sim, and God, it was hard. Like the running going into the stations. I think because of the weather, it was so hot as well, and it was like I was underfueled and so many factors, but you can't play on them. But it kind of gave me the kick I needed to realize I need to focus and I need to dial in for the
Yeah,
next few weeks.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely the marathon training has helped.
yeah.
I'm still not fully recovered from the marathon though, which is strange because I think it's about 4 weeks now. Um, like I'm struggling with hips quite a bit. Every time I squat, then I seem to get really bad DOMs, which is strange because I used to recover really well and it's just wiped me out.
What did the marathon training look like? Like how far out in advance did you start that block, and then what did the weeks consist of usually?
So I did a 16-week marathon block. My original plan was that because the marathon was 26th of April, so the plan started on like the 5th of January or something. So originally I was going to not do any high roxes this in 2026 before the marathon, but then I ended up entering two.
It's funny how that
So
works.
yeah, so I did a women's doubles in January in Manchester, and then I did Nice in February, which is when I qualified for Worlds. Purely because Worlds was always my goal this year. Like it wasn't an explicit goal, people didn't know, but it had been in my calendar since June last year when they
Oh,
announced it was in.
really?
Yeah, um, because last year was in Chicago, it wasn't as sort of achievable to go, and as feasible, but Stockholm, I was like, I need to go, especially because I'm moving to Australia. So I need to I may as well go while it's over here and I'm close.
Yeah,
So that's why when I didn't qualify in Madrid, I thought I'll give it one last go in Nice in February, which then the marathon training kind of focused on. Well, my peak was like 60K a week, which my body is definitely not built for. Because I'm not a runner, I never will be a runner. Um, but yeah, that kind of creeped up, and then the few weeks leading up to the marathon, I then completely dropped all forms of Hyrox training, just kept up my strength, rehab, prehab, recovery, and yeah, didn't really do anything of that high intensity in my gym sessions. Just kept it quite chill.
What's harder, you think?
interesting.
High
Pardon?
rocks? What's harder, a high rocks or a marathon? If you're going full send, like balls to the wall, you're trying to PR a high rocks compared to getting through a marathon. Um, yeah, what was more challenging?
Mm, Probably a Hyrox takes more mental strength, which is the thing that I struggle with because my head lets me down a lot more and a lot easier than my body does. Because if I get in my own head, then I've lost it. And that's something that working with Hyrox workouts has definitely improved. And because I now have so much more exposure to like sims and 80% sims, 70% sims, I'm a lot more confident. I've got a lot more self belief. So I don't lose my head as easy. Whereas if I was running a marathon with no crowd, a marathon would be really hard. But doing the London Marathon with the amazing crowd, the amazing support, like it wasn't a breeze, obviously, but it felt quite not easy, but it was quite achievable because there was such good atmosphere. Whereas, yeah,
Yeah.
a high is a mental game.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at that answer. I'm not going to lie.
Me too.
Um, I've not done a marathon, but I would assume that mentally tougher than a Hyrox just for the length of time. Um, but you've experienced both, so you know better than
Yeah,
me. What
but
was your
like
marathon time again, Millie?
340.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
Um,
yeah,
thank you. So, but like my 5K PB is like 4:37, or no, maybe like 4:30 a kilometer, whereas then my Hyrox pace is like 4:45, whereas my marathon pace was like 5:09. So if you think about it, I'm running. I know it's for so long, but
Hmm.
so much slower compared to like my 5K PB, whereas the Hyrox pace is not that far off my 5K, like all out effort. So actually, it does kill me off a bit more.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a different type of pain too, because I know for me, I dread going for long runs. If I see that I have to run for longer than an hour in my training plan, I am like, oh my God, this is the worst day ever. But if I see that I have to do like compromised running where I'm going in and out of stations and my heart is beating a mile a minute, I actually look forward to that. And so it might just be the different type of pain that people enjoy because I know that the constant repetitive motion of running and the pounding and over 26 miles, or how many kilometers is that? Is
42.
42. Do you, when you guys talk about marathons, do you talk about it from the 26.2 or do you say 42K?
26.2, but I was looking at my pace in kilometers.
Got it.
I don't know. I look at a bit both.
Yeah. Everything that I do now is in kilometers
Yeah,
since I started training
yeah,
for
I'm in
Hyrox,
kilometers as
and it's
well.
way
Yeah.
easier. Um, but I think for me, like just the amount of pain that I would be in thumping away for 26 miles, insane.
Yeah, I think I was so like,
Yeah, mentally tough.
fueled with adrenaline, everything. Like to say, the morning of the marathon, I was so nervous that I ate my breakfast and then threw up, which I've never done in my life. So I was definitely
Really?
like under fueled because the whole thing came up. So I then was like just trying to eat loads of sweets, but I
Hmm.
was so buzzing by the atmosphere, everything. And also, I was very fortunate that I had about 20 people come and support, but I didn't really know where they would be stood. So I was constantly looking for them, looking for their signs. So I wasn't really focused on the run. I was more so like just looking around
Yeah,
and then reading other signs. And yeah, it's just brilliant. Whereas I think if you
yeah,
told me to go run a marathon right now, then
Yeah,
no, I'd rather do a high rocks.
totally makes sense. The environment can
yeah.
totally
But
dictate
I always
energy.
definitely, I always say the same thing about I've only completed a half marathon, and yes, the atmosphere was brilliant, but I just remember finishing and thinking I just could not run back to the start now. So marathon's not on my radar, so I respect anyone that's done a marathon. So yeah, fair play.
I really didn't think I had it in me, to be fair. And the marathon, like the training block, really got me worried because I found it hard. And anything longer than 30K, I really started to struggle. And to be fair, on marathon day, literally 5K in, my hips started hurting.
Oh no.
Oh,
But I
really?
just embraced it and just, it's only like the last 5K that I was like, okay, this is tough.
That's a good place to be.
Um, uh, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna jump back to the High Rocks.
Yeah, do it.
You've mentioned qualification for Worlds, which is amazing. So talk us through. You've mentioned that that was on your radar. That wasn't known to many people, but that was on your radar. So how soon after your race did you find out that you'd qualified for World? And when you finished, did you have an idea that you were in with a chance to qualify, or did it come as a surprise, or where were you when you found out and things like that?
So before I competed, obviously I looked at how many were in the age group. I looked at how many world champs qualification spots there were because this was just before they changed the way they've done it this season. So I knew that there were two spots. So I was like, okay, I need to come top two to qualify. Then I raced. I was in third. I was like, okay, can hold on. And then the last wave went and I dropped down to fourth in the age group and I was gutted I cried to my mum and I was like, oh, I've not got a flag and I've not qualified for Worlds. And I was really sad about it because I just put too much pressure on myself. And that's what I do is I'm like, even though I'd got a 4 minute PB, like it's my second pro, like it was the best race I've ever done. I actually hit my
Yeah,
pace, everything. I didn't lose my head. Like, I just was like, oh, I'm so gutted. Um, So I raced on the Sunday, and then on the Wednesday, I was just at work, checked my emails, and saw this. Congratulations, you've qualified! And I was like, oh my god! And I started crying, and then people at work were like, "What's wrong?" And they were like, "Are you happy? Are you sad?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm buzzing." So
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
I want to hear some of your High Rocks hot takes. Like, what do you think about um what were some of the things, Ross, that we had gone back and forth for, like training with a partner, um, curious about where you go, like where you send it versus where you like hold off a little bit. Like, how do you strategize around a race when you're coming into start with your solo? Because I think probably the strategy will be different with a doubles versus solo versus a mixed. When you're going into the race, how do you think about where you're going to hit the gas versus where you need to chill out a bit?
So this is what I think has been the game changer this season. And sort of by talking with Francesco and talking with Steve, now I the first run and then the ski I take so easy. Well, not easy, but so steady to the point where in Nice, my mum thought I'd run an extra lap because I was so far behind. She was like, oh, she was trying to look for me. I was like, where is she? Where is she? I can't. She must have ran too far. Because as well in Nice, there was two Elite 15s in my wave, and I was obviously stood next to them, and I thought, oh, I've just got to let them go, and I did. I didn't even try to catch up or anything. Um, so I take it really steady. The sleds are normally make or break, like where I can lose my head. And to be fair, in Nice, the the judge on the sled push looked at me and went, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know,"
Really?
because I was struggling, and because I find that I get so hot at the sleds, like my body is really going into panic mode. Then the burpees, I don't know what it is. I love the burpees. I can just go and just plod along. I just don't stop, just go steady. This is sort of my thing for the burpees. And
Yeah.
then I get the row and literally just do the slowest row ever. Even in doubles, like last time I did a women's doubles, everyone around us had left. It was just me going. The judges going, "Come on, you can do it, you can do it." Because I'm going like 2:35 pace, like purely to just get that heart rate down. And then it means the run after the row, my legs feel unreal. I feel recovered, and I'm like, okay, I've got a boost now. Just get to the farmer's carry. That don't like it at all. But then once that's done, I'm like, okay, this is where my race starts. And that's where then the lunges are go for it, and then the wall balls, and then you're done.
Yeah. How do you, it might be, how do you plan to split you're saying that's when your race starts. So I'm guessing the strong for you. So, um, the wall balls in particular, how do you plan to split the wall balls? Is it just get into the wall balls, see how we're feeling, or do you have a strategy before your race in mind?
I always want to go unbroken, and I never do
Yeah.
because I always
That was
just
going to be
lose
the
my head.
follow-up question. Have you went up unbroken in wall balls?
No,
No.
a girl could dream. I've done it in training with a four, never with a six. But it's purely a mental game, and I always find I will get to that. I think my last one I got to 60 and then stopped, and then suddenly once you've stopped, you then can only do like 15 before, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I stop? So I'm umming and ahhing with my world strategy whether I just go 25, literally three breaths, 25, three breaths, 25, three breaths, and 25? Or do I try and get to 50? And then I don't know. It's one of those that I almost need someone to tell me what to do. If they tell me, then I'll do it. But me trying to decide, no idea.
I think
Yeah.
if you're going solo, go in balls to the wall. You do as many wall balls as you can. And then once you're at the point where you're like, I need to take a break, then that's what I would do. Because to me, breaking them up into sets of is 25 is like just enough to feel like a lot. And it's
Mm.
also like not a ton because you still have to do it four times. So if you're able to get 50 on the first go or even 60, I would shoot for that. And then you do one set of 25
and one set of 15 and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think breaking the back of it first is a better shout. I've never went unbroken in a race. There is a I know for a fact if I can get to a certain number, I would go unbroken, but I've never got to that number yet. I've always
What
broke
number?
in this 75. If I could get to 75, I could go unbroken because you would just get through the last
Yeah.
25. But at 60 odd is where I've broke annoyingly. So that is an aim of mine, 100 unbroken.
Do you think it's psychological where it's like you're at the point where your body is in like automated, like you've just been repeating the motion so much, and now because you're looking at the number, you're like, oh, 60. I can get to 60 and then I can take a break. Do you think if you set the number in your head as like 80, that you could get to 80?
Yeah, definitely. But this is the thing, in training, I count down from 100.
Oh, interesting.
It's like I find it easier, and then I'm like, oh, okay, like only 25 to go. Whereas
Yeah.
then I think having the wall ball rep counter is good, but it makes it harder mentally because you're like, oh, I feel like I should be on 60 and I'm on 10 when it's
Yeah.
never ending.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely a mental game. Though in my Nice Pro Solo, I the last 30 I did like unbroken, and the last 10 of that, literally I felt my body going into shock. Like I could feel myself going cold. I could feel like goosebumps, and I thought, oh, body is not happy now. This
Yeah.
is my limit. So that yeah, that took mental strength to actually do it. But yeah, I got it done.
That's interesting what you're saying about the counter, the digital counter, because I said to Jacob, when I raced in Malaga, we didn't have them. It was just old school. I had a woman counting, but I don't speak Spanish, so I had no idea what rep I was on. I don't know where I got no rep or anything. So I actually had to stop to ask how many I was on, and that might sound stupid because you might say, well, you didn't have to stop. You could just keep going until you got told you're done. But it was in my head that I had no idea where I was at. So
Yeah,
I do like having the counter there.
yeah,
But yeah,
I do
everyone's
like it.
different, I suppose.
I like it for so many reasons, but I do find it hard that first sort of like 20, 30 that you're like,
Yeah,
so when I've done them abroad, I would always turn to the judge and I'll say English, English, and then they do normally then say like they will count in English. But
yeah. I
Oh, that's
remember I raced in it was Birmingham or Manchester, and I think I told my judge because we didn't have the digitals. I was just like, "Oh, can you just give us a count every 10?"
mm,
Which he did then, but I didn't ask that in Spanish, so
when when I was just in Monterrey in Mexico, I don't know if he did this for every single person, and if he did it, he's a champ. He counted from one all the way to 100 with the in Spanish, and I was doing pro doubles, so you get to split it up. But I kind of liked not having the ticker because it felt like it went by so fast. It was,
yeah,
you just kept going and going and going. And I felt like with the ticker, at least in doubles, there's like these marks that are kind of arbitrary that you're trying to get to like split it up with your partner. Maybe you do 25-25 or someone goes in and balls to the wall. But we both just, my partner started him off. He came in and just did as many as he could. And I think, started us off with like 35 or 40. And then I just did as many as I could. And I think I did another 30 or 35. And by that point, we were like almost done. And
yeah,
which is, if I felt like I was seeing the number tick up, I'd be like, okay, three more. And then I'll stop.
yeah,
yeah. I do. I mean, I prefer wall balls for doubles just for that
Oh,
reason.
yeah, they're the
Your
best.
workload's just split. Yeah, so
That's the thing though with doubles. It's like your workload is split, but you're pushing so much harder on the runs that like by the time you come into the stations, you're kind of dead inside. And
yeah. Which actually it was going to lead us on to what I was going to ask. So Millie's done both. I know you haven't, Jake, but I was going to say I think a lot of people think doubles is easier just because you get that little bit of rest. But what do you think is harder, solo race or a doubles race? And you've done all three. You've done all three actually. I've only done same pairs, doubles, and solos. You've done mixed as well. So add mixed into there as well.
I honestly think it depends on your strategy because, interestingly, I did Paris Open solo in October and got 113, then did women's doubles in December and also got 113. And the women's doubles felt so much harder because we just had such a bad strategy. It was very much, I am marginally fitter, but I just tried to carry the whole thing. And it meant that I did too much and I was hogging everything. And then I did too much that then actually I wasn't doing anything very quick or any, like, there was no worthwhile. And then we ran slower because we were
Yeah,
just struggling. Whereas me and the same partner, so that was December. In January, that we then did 108 because we actually shared the load better. I let my ego go and said, no, come on, actually, be sensible about it.
yeah,
And we took the pressure off as well, which then made it really enjoyable. And I would say that was easier, even though it was 108, it was the fastest women's doubles I've done. That was easier because we didn't have the mental pressure. We didn't have the, like, we had a better split. I let my ego go. Right, it was a lot better.
yeah, that makes
Whereas,
sense.
yeah, I guess a doubles is a lot less of a mental game, I'd say.
Our
And I
time,
do, sorry,
go ahead, Millie.
I do love a mixed doubles though,
Yeah.
for the extra
What
push.
I was good. I was just gonna say, is that for a specific reason, or
Yeah, definitely. Both of the times I've done mixed doubles, it's been the fastest I've ever ran in my life. Because I've purely been pulled round. So it would be interesting, I guess, if I did women's doubles with someone that was a lot a lot faster than me and a lot fitter than me, then probably I would like that challenge. But yeah.
yeah,
No, it's interesting what you were saying, Millie, about like running so much faster during the during a doubles. And I still have yet to do a solo race because I'm been so hyper fixated on getting the pro doubles sub 60. And every time I've like go to sign up for a race, some of my friends are also like, "Hey, do you want to do it together?" And then I'm like, "Well, all right." So at some point I need to just say I'm doing this one by myself, but I don't know if I would jump straight into uh, pro or if I should do an open solo first. But it is interesting from my perspective. Um, I've always been the lesser of the two that's like physically fit. The very first time I did it, my partner was more fit than I. Then the second one I did in Vegas, he was way more fit than me. He carried probably like 60 to 65% of the work because I was just trying to keep up with him on the runs. Um, we're running like a 350, 355 per kilometer pace, and he's recovering. His threshold was at like a 335 or 340 or something ridiculous. Um, and so by the time he was ready for a break on the stations, I was finally starting to feel a bit better. But I don't know. I don't know how I would pace a solo race. Do you do you know what your threshold pace is, Millie? Like, have you ever done a specific like threshold test to kind of figure out your heart rate zones and where your lactate threshold starts to become, accumulate more than what you're able to use for fuel?
I haven't, but I mean, I have no idea. I guess probably. Well, this is the interesting thing now is I want to do another doubles. I want to do another women's doubles and another mixed because when we did 108 women's, I think our run pace was like 4:53,
Okay.
whereas then my pro solo I did 4:45 pace. So I am
Getting
now
fast.
technically quicker. And like the mixed doubles that I did 59 minutes was last April and we ran 4:35. So now I feel like we could definitely do a lot quicker.
yeah. You've got to does your smartwatch tell you your threshold? It might not be as accurate as I think the test Jacobs talking about, but it might give you a bit of an idea. I'm not sure which one you have, but on
It
the
might,
Garmin app, it might tell you within there.
yeah, I'll have to have a look. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
not looked.
If you're ever interested in doing the test, I can send you how to do it. It's painful. It sucks. It's
Yeah,
it's like a basically a 30-minute all out, not like a full sprint, but like as hard as you can go for 30 minutes running. And then you use the heart rate data, and you can take the average heart rate over the last 20 minutes of the test, and that will tell you basically what your threshold heart rate is, and then you kind of match it up to the paces, and then you can figure out everything from there. You can figure out where your zone one, zone two, zone three, four, and five is. And I I always recommend doing one usually at the start of every training block, so that way you can be more scientific about the training.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
that sounds good. Yeah, I know you said that, Millie, but I'd be interested in that as well if you wouldn't mind
Yeah,
sending it over.
I'll
I
send it to
am
you.
I am a bit worried though, about going back into like threshold running or high intensity running or anything. I went out just out of interest last week just to test my 5K, and I felt every bit of it after like having 5 weeks off the high intensity training.
Well, also too, aren't you in the middle of like a caloric deficit?
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't cut any more in the last couple of weeks,
Okay.
just purely because I didn't need to. It was just a bit of a tidy up, but yeah, I would have been under a fuel test on that 5K as well. So I mean, I was happy with it, but I did feel every bit of it.
Yeah. No, I'll send it to you. It's yeah, and then if you have your heart rate monitor um and you do it outside on a track or on flat ground, I can look at the data and help you figure out where um like where everything is at. Um I wanted to ask you, Millie, so for me, one of the big things is like cross training, and especially for aerobic because I hate running. I'm not a runner. Um a lot of miles on my body is brutal. What do you do outside of running to still continue to like build your engine, supplement some of the aerobic stuff?
I try and go on the bike, but I'm not very good at it.
What do you
And
mean? What do you
I
mean?
just I just have the weakest legs known to man. Like they have no endurance. I don't know what it is, but I can't pace on a bike. It just burns too quick.
Really?
Yeah, people get really surprised. They're like, "Oh, you're so fit and all this." I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't. I just can't do it."
You also are squatting all the time. How, like, that's
They
interesting.
just fatigue. I don't know what it is. They go all tingly and they have no endurance. And I find it like with sled, everything just go really quick.
Interesting.
So and like rowing, I'm rubbish at rowing as well. I like skiing, um, but I definitely don't do as much like engine builder work as I would like. But then I'm like, I already train like 8 times a week. What else can I add?
I mean, yeah, if what you're doing and stuff is like comfortable and feels good on your body and works for you, I think then there's no reason to add more. I always look at it as like, what can I swap? Because for me, any opportunity that I can not run, I will take it. Like just this training block, I started doing instead of like VO2 max training on runs, I've started at the beginning of my block doing them on the bike. So I'll go like 5 minutes all out effort and then 5 minutes relaxed on the bike. And I end up walking away from those sessions still like beat to shit. Like it's still so painful, but I feel like the next day my like hips don't hurt, my knees don't hurt. It's just muscles are tired.
Yeah. I like doing the bike WODs on this Concept 2 Erg
Yeah,
app. I do like doing those because again, it's one of them things, it's a mental game. If someone doesn't tell me what to do, I won't do it. But it because that it literally sets it up on your phone on the bike, then I will do it. So yeah. Whereas if
I
someone
think the
told me
bike gigs the hardest machine,
You
and
think
people,
so?
yeah, honestly, I do, yeah. Like I struggle to get into zone two on the bike erg. I think
Just
it's a
because
little bit like,
it takes so much like leg power to get
yeah, and
the
I
rate
just
up.
don't think I've got that. So I find the bike erg really hard. My favorite workout was before solo, and it was like a lot of time on the ski, a lot of time on the road into a run, just set the distances. So I would choose not to be on the bike erg if I'm being totally honest.
That's so
I know
interesting.
what you mean. It's too easy on the bike to just be on my phone, just moving my legs. Before I know it, I'm going like 3:10 pace. Like it's so slow
Yeah,
because
yeah. So
it's
then
easy with the ski or the row. Like at least I'm concentrating and I'm looking at
yeah.
my pace right. But even the row, I really, really struggle. I just can't do it.
Interesting. I wonder if it's a form thing. We'll have to
But
dissect more.
whatever you're doing is good enough to get you into
Yeah.
world. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
True. I probably have like the worst row out of everyone.
But
I
that's
am absolutely petrified.
that's something that's so cool though about Hyrox is because it's not like a marathon or even a triathlon where it's like whoever is the fastest at running or whoever is the fastest at riding the bike and swimming and running. Like you only have three things to choose from. You can pace your race a million different ways. And for obviously running is the biggest factor. The faster you are at running, probably the better you're gonna do in high rocks. But it is interesting how some people can go out super hot and then they crush the first, 3, 4 stations, and then the rest of it is coasting because they've already built whatever, lead they're looking for. Other people, they have to start way easier and then they finish way stronger. Some people, the burpees annihilates them and then they're trying to catch up after that. So I just think it's interesting how you can be like you can PR a race with a completely different strategy than what allowed you to PR before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, definitely.
And
Um,
like first and second could have completely different races.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
two splits, you look at them and it's like so far different. Yeah, 100%.
like you say, that is why Hyrox is brilliant. There's not one way of winning a Hyrox race, and I even feel like when you watch the elites, uh, that shows as well, which actually leads us back just to what Millie was saying before. We spoke, Jacob, before, like the sport's brilliant because you can be on the track the same time as the elites as someone running their first race. And Millie mentioned that she was in a wave with two Elite 15
Yeah.
athletes. I was just interested. Remember who those two athletes were or not?
sorry, what did you say?
Were there two Elite 15 ladies in your wave?
Yeah.
Who were they?
Um oh, I what's her name? Ida Matilda or something, and
Yeah,
um Ellis Stenhouse or
Mm.
whatever. They do Elite 15 doubles together.
right.
But yeah, they were very speedy. I think they got an hour and two and an hour and three, I think. So they
It's
were.
it's so crazy. Like to be on the floor with them, the my very first pro doubles ever, I was um on on with Ryan Kent and I think his partner's name is like Steven or Colin Stiefler, I think is his partner's name. And I had no clue I was so new to Hyrox. I had no clue who they were. So everybody out of the starting gate is like chasing these guys. And we run our first 1K in like a 320 something. Um, and by the time we got to the sled pole, they were already on the row. And yeah, but even crazier than that, in Vegas, I was in the same heat as Hunter McIntyre and Cole Learn, and
Nice.
they
Yeah, that's a good one.
which was epic to be in the start tunnel with those guys. They have like a,
That would have been the last time I've seen them, to be fair.
it was pretty
The
much.
start line.
Um, and you're like, we're running fast. We were running sub 4 minute kilometers, but still getting lapped by these guys. And so they took off. They were going for the world record that day. Which at that point, it was before it was in the 47. It was still like 48, 20 something or something like that. And they take off. And I remember we are getting in, like, we're just about to come into the sled push. And I make eye contact with Cole Learn as they are done with the sled push already. And that was the last time I saw them for the whole race, and until I heard them counting on the wall balls. And we were just entering, like, just getting towards where the farmers carries.
It's
So
crazy.
fast.
Yeah.
No, but it is good that you can be on the track at the same time as them. It is
So
interesting.
it's so cool. And it gives you a different level of appreciation, I think, for what the athletes are doing. It's like you can feel it with the timing. Obviously, if some person is going all out and they're getting, an hour, whatever, and then you're like, holy shit, how did these people do it in 50 some odd minutes, let alone 48, 49 minutes? Um, but when you're out there and you see the speed that they're going, these guys are holding, you know, 3 minute and 30-second kilometers and then going and finishing every station. They finish the sled push in under 2 minutes. They finish the sled pull in under 3 minutes. They do the farmer's carry in under a minute 30, burpees under two
Yeah,
minutes. It's crazy.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. Um, Millie, last one from me. You mentioned you feel like you haven't like recovered fully from your marathon. How has your training gone so far? You're now in peak week, so then what is the date of Worlds? Is it 3 weeks now? 4 weeks?
Friday the 19th of June I compete. So I think it's that. I don't know if that's three
Yeah, so
weeks.
not long.
3 weeks on Friday.
Yeah, so how does your training look from now until then?
In all honesty, I don't know. I've not
Not
looked.
sure.
But obviously it's peak week this week, which has kind of come not at the most ideal time, because I'm so busy. But then we start to taper it, start to focus on technique, form, pace, race strategies, which I'm excited for. I'm looking forward to that. This week, I'm just going to have to fight through, and then we'll go again next week.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I also told lie, it's not that wasn't my last one. This might be my last one. Is World something that you go in with a time in mind, or is it literally just going to be go enjoy that whole experience, the world experience and stuff, or is there a competitive inner you that's gonna set yourself a time?
I've not actually set a time, but I would love a PB.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the main thing is the fact the main thing that I'm excited for is having a T-shirt that has Inman on it and an England flag.
Yeah,
that's
that'll
the
be
main
good.
thing. That's like
Yeah,
the main thing. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. Um,
yeah, no, that is cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. That was gonna be my final question was if you're going for a PB. I didn't know, did they give every athlete that's going to Worlds a custom t-shirt?
Yeah.
What? Oh man.
Yeah, but it's so expensive. Worlds is so expensive.
How much more expensive was the ticket cost?
So bear in mind a normal like abroad one's like 130 euros maybe. This is 230 euros.
Wow.
£100 t-shirt,
Expensive
well
t-shirt.
worth
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, real.
honestly, I will wear it every day. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm really excited. And yeah, I think my main love for Hyrox is how many people I've inspired to do it. That's like my main thing. Like my parents are going to Rimini tomorrow to do solos, and I'm not even
Oh,
going.
oh, they really?
Yeah, it's their second solos, so
that's amazing.
Oh,
and
that is class.
they've done more this season than I have, so that's the main sort of my favorite part.
Oh, no, it's class.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
Millie, thank you so much for being willing to jump on with us. We're gonna be rooting for you from the sideline and watching your journey, and then you'll have to come back on after Worlds and tell us all about the experience.
I'd love to. Thanks.
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks. Good luck there at your block and good luck for the world race.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
No
Thank you.
worries. Thank you very much. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.